Ladies and gentlemen, the BBC is back. Browny's Book Club. Um, Coming back to you today with a book by legendary feminist author Gloria Steinem, My Life on the Road. Um, if you've never heard of Gloria, um, she was a journalist right back from the 60s, right on the forefront of the second wave of feminism. She started a magazine called Ms. Magazine, which I've never read personally, but according to the book, it's very highly regarded in feminist circles. I'd actually never really heard of her, or never heard of her at all until I was recommended this book by Chrissy, a girl I spent some time with in Serbia last year. Hi Chrissy, if you're watching. Um, the book is basically, as the title suggests, about her life on the road. She was brought up by a travelling salesman who was always going from one money-making scheme to another and never liked to stay put in one place. And basically she'd been, east to west and back again across America countless times by the time she was 16, and she sort of had to stay put for a while and look after her mother, who sort of had a nervous breakdown. And that's, this is all in the early days before she sort of got into the feminist ideal, till she picked up the fight, So yeah, she went to India and learned a lot of the women who sort of taught Gandhi all. You hear a lot of stories throughout the book. It's just reiterating that story behind every great man there's a great woman. She actually tells a story about, I think, Mahalia Jackson. I'm not too familiar with who she is, but as far as I know, she's a pretty big deal in African American issues from those days. But she was apparently the one that spurred on Martin Luther King to do his "I Have a Dream" speech. He was about to call it quits on the podium, and he said, "Tell him about the dream, Reverend." Anyway, I'll leave that story for you to read in the book. I basically gave it away. It's a bit of a spoiler. Anyway, if you read the book, it basically shows you that there's a straight line that's concurrent between women's rights, humans' rights, workers' rights, black rights, gay rights, fucking trans rights. They're just human rights, like if someone's being downtrodden, or they're placated, or their voice isn't being heard, it's detrimental to the entire of society, and yeah, I guess it's like that saying, just because someone else is receiving more rights doesn't mean that you're getting less rights. It's not a piece of the pie. Yeah. So after reading the book, I could say, I'm not going to come out and say, oh, I'm now a male feminist, basically, because there's that creepy connotation to it these days. Like, I don't know. I've always advocated women joining men. I've worked in construction all my life. I've never had a problem working beside women, and yeah, I'd like more of it, so I'd have to work less. That'd be fucking great. But I don't think that's what they mean by equal opportunity a lot of the times. Where we're going with that, was a bit of a fucking stupid segue. What else is there? Oh, there's a story in the book that tells about she worked in various campaigns throughout the fucking 50 years she was active, or however long it was, 70 years or something. Um, and she was working for the guy that was um, campaigning against LBJ, which is, you know, your early Vietnam War days. And she, yeah, she tells a story about there was a whole heap of women behind this guy. You know, he was the progressive candidate, and whenever whenever the cameras would roll around, you know, the press would turn up. They'd have all these women, and they'd just throw them into the spare room, you know, and they couldn't be seen. And it was, you know, like no presidential candidate could ever be taken seriously for listening to women or having women helping on the campaign trail. And I sort of thought, well, first, how far we've come, and secondly, like, what sort of people were they back in those days? You know, that's their mothers, their sisters, their aunties, their fucking their daughters, and they're treating them like fucking cattle. And when people think, let's go back to the old days, the good old days, I sort of think, is that what you want? Is that what you're aiming for? You know, those are the days when a black man couldn't use the same fucking door as us. You know, they couldn't drink out of a fucking water fountain as they could. Women, you know, they're basically treated like cattle. You know, sit down and be quiet. Fucking, we own you, sort of thing. Are these the good idea? The good old days these people are going for? You know, keep them barefoot and pregnant, locked in behind doors. Anyway, I'm not going to get all political here, but it's pretty hard not to when you're reading a book that's so heavily political, I suppose. Anyway, the book was a really pleasant read. You know, wasn't an absolute page turner. I took a good few weeks reading it. I had a few books going at once, and yeah, yeah. Once I got right into it, the stories were absolutely unreal. She got a knack for storytelling, well written. Um, did I agree with everything she said? No, absolutely not. But that's not, you know, never going to happen anywhere. But it was definitely great to see her perspective and learn a little bit more about the feminist movement from someone that's not yelling at me. I guess, you know, that was probably the thing I was least excited about reading that book for, because that's how I got into like getting the book in the first place. When I was speaking to Chrissy, you know, she was talking about how she was a feminist, and I said, oh, well, that's great. I said, I really think we should be listening to women more, you know. And she's like, oh, it's so kind of you, you know, you should be listening to women more. And I was like, yeah, well, fucking, I believe in feminism, but they do themselves a disservice by just shouting at people and, you know, taking it too far. Like with every ism, you know, like fucking communists and fucking all those different people that have strongly held beliefs that are unwavering, you know, sticking to one fucking, you know, one or two books that they've read. A lot of people don't really, they're not inclusive to anyone that's coming from a different perspective, I guess, you know. But if you read Gloria's book, she's she actually pulls, she red teams her own ideas, you know, like this is what happens when, you know, we get too overzealous here, and this is what happens when, yeah, basically when men feel downtrodden and fucking rah rah, it does a disservice to us. And she's actually very, very in the middle, which is quite appealing to my sensibilities, I guess. And anyway, I think that's enough of me waffling on. I'd probably suggest that if you're a bloke like me that's, you know, not adverse to, you know, women having more rights and being in the workplace more, and you know, if you think they should be driving vehicles, I'm not quite sold on that one just yet, but maybe one day. Read the book. It's I'll give it a 13 out of 17.5. So yeah, Gloria Steinem's My Life on the Road. Sorry, I'm not real good with the camera, as you can see. I'm still not getting any better. Anyway, I'm still haven't really progressed too much with this Six Ring Performance website. It's still sitting there, the domain's sitting there with a dummy mock-up fucking font and layout. But like I said, sixringperformance.com. Put it in your favourites. Won't be too long, and I'll have a few items for sale. Maybe I'll start doing a blog once I get my shit together and stop spending 12.5 hours a day in the sun, as you can see by my stupid fucking panda eyes. Yeah, drop me a line. What do you think about these reviews? What I ask it on every video. What's more information I can give? Let's start conversing here. Let's get a community going. What books should I be reading? You know, what did I leave out that you'd like to know about these books? Yeah. Other than that, have a fucking fantastic week. I'm about to go to the gym because I was sat on my ass all day, and well, I've been reading, so it hasn't been completely fruitless, but yeah, I haven't been anywhere near as productive as I would have hoped to be. In other words, I'm signing out, and you have yourself a fucking lovely weekend, and let's make reading cool. Thanks, guys. One more thing, ladies and gentlemen, I'd just like you to meet my good friend Bobby Brown. As you'll see, he's a cute fluffy dog. He'll probably be joining me on a few more videos from time to come. He doesn't really have an opinion on the book. He's not much of a reader at all, and I don't actually ever think I've ever seen him read. Hey buddy. But the only reason I've got him in this video right now is because I want to tag cute fluffy dogs, and if you've been on YouTube searching out cute fluffy dogs or cute dogs or something like along those lines, you'll realise now you've been duped into watching fucking 12 or 13 minutes worth of video just to see a couple of seconds of a cute fluffy dog. So there you go. Don't say I don't pay off, but yeah, that's enough for now. Hooroo.